Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of the Architectural Design and Planning Commission to order. We would like to invite C.J. Johnson for an invocation.
Thank you. Would you pray with me? Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to come and pray before you. We acknowledge you as sovereign, and Father, I pray for those on this committee that you would give them wisdom and that you would guide them in their decision-making, and Father, that you would bless them and their families. We pray all these things in Jesus' holy name. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Since we're understanding, we can do the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Chairman Carter, absent. Vice Chair Bartlett,
Present.
Commissioner Chant,
Present.
Commissioner Despain,
Present.
Commissioner McDonald,
Present.
Commissioner Medrano,
Present.
and Commissioner Tuft.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. We'd like to introduce our new ADC Commissioner, Evelyn Medrano. Evelyn, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself?
So my name is Evelyn Medrano. I grew up here in the Antelope Valley. I attended elementary, middle, and high school here before finishing a bachelor's degree at the University of Santa Barbara. I'm very excited to be here and to serve the city of Lancaster, and I very much look forward to working with my fellow commissioners to achieve the goals of the city of Lancaster. Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome. We're happy to have you. Okay, public business from the floor. Any person who would like to address the Architectural and Design Commission on any agendized item is requested to complete a speaker card for the recording secretary and identify the agenda item you would like to discuss. Each person will be given an opportunity to address the Architectural and Design Commission at the time such item is discussed by the Architectural and Design Commission. Speaker cards available at the entrance of Council chambers. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Do we have any speakers?
There are no speakers.
Okay, the first item on our consent calendar is the approval of minutes for the regular meeting of March 7th, 2019. May we have a motion, please?
I motion that we approve the minutes for the regular meeting for March 7th, 2019.
Please vote. Are you ready?
Motion passes 4 and 2 abstain.
The next item is new business, site plan review number 19-02. Can we hear the staff report, please?
Good evening, members of the Architectural Design Commission. This item before you is Site Plan Review 1902. The project is located along 10th Street West at 43860 10th Street West, between J12 and Avenue J10. There are 2 existing buildings on site. The building on the southwesterly portion of the site would be demoed, and the applicant is requesting a new 39,553 square foot general office building. There would be new landscaping all throughout the site, and the existing parking lot would be renovated. The parking lot provides landscape planters at the end of the parking aisle and provide 1 tree for every 4 parking spaces. The landscaping utilized within the project would revitalize the existing site. An outdated and dilapidated building would be demoed and would be replaced with a new office building. The design of the building would be similar to the existing building west of the project. It would include columns, windows, and various paint colors to avoid blank walls and create wall articulation. The use of multiple colors and change of materials would create a visually interesting design. The architectural elements implemented to the new building would complement the style of the existing building by using similar materials and colors. In addition, the well-designed entrance incorporates a change of roofline, providing enhancement to the overall building architecture. Staff recommends that ADC approve Site Plan Review 1902, and that concludes staff's presentation.
Does anyone have any questions about this project?
Yes, I do. So, I mean, this drawing that we have is, I mean, tiny scale, seeing the plantings, the tree and the growth like that. We're just not able to really tell what we have here. And it looks like against the building, is there going to be plants against the building itself to break up the design? It doesn't look like that in what we're seeing here.
The landscaping is going to be along the property line and then within the parking lot, but there are no landscaping between the buildings.
Okay. Usually we're looking to have some sort of something to break that up. We've requested that in the past. Is there any way we can get landscaping next to the building, some shrubs or something to break it up a little bit? Can we go back to the
Sure.
picture?
Did you want the site plan or the
No, the next one.
elevations? The applicant
elevation,
is here too, so he can
Okay.
answer any questions.
Good evening, Chairman, Commission. The site, the southeast building is going to be demoed, and the request was to construct a 40,000 square foot building. And so, and they also required minimum 200 parking spaces for their use. So the site got fairly tight as far as getting a 40,000 square foot building and the required parking. That literally wraps around the building to this southwest. So, so we didn't have any landscaping against the building, primarily just because, we were limited in space, and so that's why we were using the vertical elements of the CMU block, different textures, different colors, to break up the monotony of the elevations, of the long horizontal elevations.
Well, generally, that's a requirement based on the design guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
So was that taken into consideration when you started putting in the 200-plus parking spots?
We looked to see if we could, but again, trying to squeeze in 200 parking spaces for the client's needs, that was, we, couldn't get the landscaping out against the building. We have landscaping throughout the parking areas to the north against the property line, as Cynthia said, along the end of each row of parking. And so we try to enhance, and also we incorporated diamonds throughout the site as required. Every 4 parking spaces will have a diamond, a tree well. And then so we also have landscape strip on the east side of the property against the street. The front side's already existing on the west side on 10th Street West there.
What is the building to the south of that? What is the building across behind the block wall?
That is a nursing facility that was constructed, I believe, about maybe 5-6 years ago or so.
Okay, because I noticed even between them, it's just a plain block wall. There's a small pass-through there. I'm not even sure how wide it is. These drawings are so small, it's hard to really tell details on this.
I apologize for that. We submitted full-size sheets. The building is set 5 feet off of the property line, primarily one for fire-rated reasons, and also because there's a drop-off about 3 to 4 feet to the south. So there's an existing block wall there, and so we do have some landscaping there, but it's going to be limited just because it's going to be behind a block wall.
Yeah, I think we need to look at putting some landscaping right up against the building to break it up. I agree you've got it where you broke it up with different color tiles on there, but to me, I look at that, it looks like my elementary school that I went to. It's just flat, a lot of glass, and it really doesn't meet what we've been looking for here from the commission. So is there a way you can go back and try to figure out how you can put that in there?
We could. We'd have to lose probably a good 50 parking spaces, so I'd have to discuss it with my client. What you're not seeing is a floor plan here that where each of these pilasters is offset 8 inches, so it does break up the flatness. I don't know if you have a floor plan of... Okay. But yeah, so we did break up the flatness with, by bringing out the pilasters, extending those out, popping those out 8 inches, and they'll also will carry out through the beige soffit above. That will pop out. So the windows are recessed back 8 inches.
I would also like to point out that along the parking spaces in the front of the building, there are going to be trees. There's going to be 3 trees facing along 10th Street, and then in the parking lot, there are 3 trees there as well.
I see where you have the jut outs there between the parking spaces and on the corners, but I'm still looking at the building itself. We've put these requirements on the new Kensington location, and I think this is something that we're probably going to want to see here as well.
Do you have
But
that?
we'll put it to vote on. That's my input here from the commission. That's all I have.
Do you have the landscape plan at all? Or? No? Okay. I apologize for the site plan. I mean, it is busy with everything and all the information that's on there, so it is hard to see unless you're looking at it closely. The floor plan, shows a little more of the dimension. The landscape plan is a little more clear as far as, what we're trying to depict. But again, I could discuss that with my client if he'd be willing to lose those about 50 parking spaces. Again, as I was saying, to the northwest there, the existing building, that's an office building, and they require 70-some parking spaces. And so by the time we got, because we didn't want to share their parking as far as our total accounting part. And so, trying to, like I said, again, squeeze 200 spaces in there. We may possibly be able to do some compact parking, and that way that would pull out the sidewalk from the building a little bit.
Okay. And you're throwing out that number 50 parking spaces. Have you done?
I haven't done
Tried
a
this?
plan to see if that'll work, but I'm just thinking of the number of parking spaces to the east and also number of parking spaces to the west. I'm just estimating, approximately 50 spaces, 40 to 50 spaces we would lose.
Okay. All right. That's the only questions I have.
I just have a couple questions.
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt just for 2 seconds, Commissioner. I just want the record to show that Vice Chair Bartlett has a conflict and had to recuse herself. Thank you.
Following along with that, can you take a look at along 10th Street on the northwest side there? So on the south side, I see your landscaping that's included. Is that north side in your scope for this plan? Do you see the north along 10th Street?
Yeah, in front of the existing building?
Right there.
Yeah, that landscaping is existing. It's a 20-foot wide strip of landscaping, and we're going to continue that on the south side of our lot.
So that will continue on with landscaping?
Correct, yes.
Even though it doesn't show it on your plan here?
Well, it's labeled, but there is a 20-foot, from the sidewalk to the curb, there is a 20-foot offset.
I don't see anything labeled here. It looks like there's one shrub. I just want to ensure that's going to get landscaping as well
It will be
as
landscaped.
the south side.
Yes. Again, the landscape plan does show that. I apologize if it's not legible.
Okay. The other question I have is, what kind of windows? Are these treated windows?
Yeah, there'll be dual pane tinted windows that comply with Title 24. We're using a storefront Conair system, and the color was chosen to blend in, to match the building to the north, or in the southwest corner, northwest corner there. We're using the window frames to match those colors, and then all the other building colors are matching the building to the south. So we're blending in with both buildings and complementing them.
So they're going to be a green tint?
Yes.
As in, okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other comments from the Commission? Okay. Having said that, would someone like to make a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we get more detail on this before we make a decision right now and do the studies and see what we can do for putting some shrubs around the side of the building to break up the design, as well as is there any possibility of doing any window shades or anything to break up the sunlight on this? I mean, the window entering from the east and the west are probably the worst parts, morning and night. So usually we're looking to have something to break up an awning to come out, whether it's metal, industrial, or whatever you want to do. It's your decision. But with so many windows, even though they're tinted, and I feel this pain all the time at my business, you get that sun comes right in and it just bakes it. If we're looking at Title 24 and any savings of that nature, we may want to, if you can, see what it would be to put in some sort of awnings over them also.
I could take a look at that and discuss it with my client. Like I said, we are using a dual pane tinted glass that has a very high, or very low SHEC and U value. So,
okay.
Commissioner Tuft, you put a motion on the table. Is this to approve with conditions as specified?
No, I put it that we wait till we get some more detail before we put an approval to this.
So this is a condition to continue.
To continue.
And allow the applicant an opportunity to adjust their plans accordingly.
Correct, yes, and provide more details.
I'll second that.
thank you.
Okay, go ahead and vote, please.
Commissioner Despain? Motion passes 5-0.
Moving on to Site Plan 1701. Okay. Do we have any speakers for this item?
No speakers on this item.
Okay. So we would like to hear the staff report, please, right, for 1701?
Good evening, Commissioners. The item before you is Site Plan Review 17-01. The proposed project is for the elevations and site design of a new 30,000 square foot multi-tenant industrial building located at 824 West Avenue L6. Above, you'll see the site plan, and the proposed project consists of design elements which benefit business by establishing a quality industrial environment meant to provide long-term benefits of well-planned and controlled industrial development. The site layout and building follow a consistent standard set forth in the design guidelines to ensure compatibility with existing and future facilities within the city of Lancaster. The proposed trash enclosure is buffered using trees. All electrical equipment servicing the site will be located within the building and screened from public view. Mechanical equipment will be located on the roof of the building and will be screened. The proposed building maintains a consistent design throughout while providing articulation of all facades and reinforcing a concept of 360-degree architecture. The primary massing materials used for the facade of the building are a variety of painted stucco styles and colors. Articulation around the entire building is achieved through the use of vertical and horizontal bands and a parapet, and an aluminum frame canopies above each of the building entrances, including the loading area in the rear. Overall, the project site incorporates features that are consistent with those in the City of Lancaster design guidelines and meet the goal of enhancing the community's image, pride, and quality of life. Staff recommends that the Architectural and Design Commission approve Site Plan Review 17-01.
Do we have any questions?
So I do have a question. I'm looking at the elevation plan, and this does have the shrubs to break it up. I like that. It has the awnings. I appreciate that. The east elevation does not display anything in the way of plants around the side. Is there any intent for that to be put on? Was that just not put on the elevation?
The applicant is actually here to answer some questions.
Welcome.
My name is Max from Maxwell Engineering. We didn't have enough room on the east side to put any landscape area. That's the reason.
If I must say, it's the west elevation as well.
Yeah, the same
East-
thing with west elevation.
East
We
and
don't
west?
have any room. We don't have much room to put landscaping.
So what is on the, I'm trying to look at this and see what's around, what's between the two buildings, your building and the building to your west?
It's just a sidewalk. There's a sidewalk. I think we have a couple of planter on the between the buildings. We have two planters, short planter on the.
Right, and what I see on the east, I see where your parking lot you're driving around, where you can drive around
Right.
to the east, but there's a white box that is not for future development, and it seems like there's space where you could slide.
That one is different property line.
But there seems like there's a large gap on the side. If we
No,
go to,
you don't have the space for on the east side of the building.
there's no space on the
No,
east
it's
side
not,
to
no.
move
No.
lateral.
Yeah, no space.
I think we need to go look and see what we can do about putting some landscape there. What is the use of the other 5 buildings in that location, 6 buildings?
With the other building, there are warehouse and offices. Toward the 10th Street West, there are all offices. And the one next to our building is a warehouse office too, that they rented to them.
Okay, one's a gymnastics I see here, and one's a wheel repair.
And the DMV is north.
Yeah, DMV is
So
north of
that's, it's to be pointed out that there's a lot of traffic that travels over the new street, which is 7th Street West, which would be the east side. And then the new DMV is directly north of it.
I'd also like to point out that on the landscape plan, so on sheet L1.01, there are planters around the entire building, and this project actually does exceed the minimum requirement of 1 tree per every 4 parking spaces.
All right. So there are no planters right next to the building?
Yeah, we have planter next to the
That's what
building.
the
Yeah, you do.
elevation is to the north was showing.
Yeah,
Okay,
we have.
it's not
If you
showing.
look at the elevation, north shows planter we have next to the building.
So it wasn't showing that on the,
Yeah, elevation shows.
yeah, that L1.01 does not show anything
Yeah, the elevation shows.
correct. Okay. And then the roll-up doors in the back.
Yes.
Are those insulated? Are those any special type of door? 'Cause I know being facing to the south, those are going to get
Is
quite
it
warm.
insulated, John?
Are they,
Yeah, they are insulated.
they're rated?
Yeah, they are rated. Yeah,
All right.
insulated.
That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
I have one. I
Okay.
got sparked when I heard about the mechanical equipment being kept. Where now? I just want to be clear on where the mechanical equipment is being kept.
It's in the back.
In the back, because I
in
thought I
the
heard
landscape
being on
area.
top of something. On top of a... Can you
Roof.
repeat that, please?
All equipment is conditioned to be screened, so any equipment that will be on the roof or on the, will be
Yeah,
behind the
that's the word I heard.
parapet.
Right.
Yeah, that's the word I heard.
Right.
Okay. That's all I have.
You heard it right.
Okay,
You
that's
heard
all
it
I-
right.
Are there any other questions from the commissioners? No?
It's a beautiful building.
If there's no further discussion, should we make a motion on this? You know, I feel like we're not getting a lot of information on this plan. I would like to see an aerial photo with this to see where it is in conjunction to the other buildings around it. And just have, I feel like this is not very much to work with.
Vice Chair Bartlett, the aerial is actually on the first sheet of the staff report.
Oh,
The vicinity map?
Got it, no wonder. Okay. No, that's the skate park. This tiny one here, okay.
On the staff report, not the plans.
I don't have anything else, do I? This is this one. This is this one. I don't have any other aerial but this, the tiny one. I don't have anything else.
The staff report?
I have nothing else here. Okay, so that's what you're calling.
Vice Chair Bartlett, the aerial is on the screen. If you'd like us to enlarge it, we could possibly do that now.
That might just be my eyes giving me an issue here. So I can't see it from there or here.
There we go.
Okay. If there are no other further questions, then we have a motion.
Yes, I have a motion. I'd like to motion that we not approve this until they assess where the property line is. From what I'm looking here on the future development, it's just not clear whether they can slide the building or slide their parking lot to the east to incorporate the ground cover next to the building, the east side of the building.
I second that motion. Can we vote?
Can we get clarification? So this is a motion to continue, not reject the project.
To continue, yes, to continue.
And
What we
provide
want to
more
do is them to assess the viability of where the property line is, if it can be move the parking lot to the east, or however they're going to do it, in order to incorporate in the ground cover next to the building.
Okay, thank you.
And we are voting on that.
Motion to continue 6-0.
The next item we have is a presentation for the skate park at Jane Reynolds Park. Can we hear the presentation, please?
Good evening, Vice Chair Bartlett and members of the Commission. My name is Jeff Campbell, representing the Parks, Recreation, and Arts Department. I come before you tonight to present the design for the skate park that will be constructed at Jane Reynolds Park. Last fall, the City Council gave us direction to build a skate park, and we immediately got to work on it. We hired Doug Grove with RHA Landscape Architects to begin the design. The city has a 30-year history with Mr. Grove and RHA Landscape Architects, and they have our full confidence. Mr. Grove then brought in Aaron Spahn from Spahn Ranch to continue and finalize the design. Spahn Ranch is the industry leader in skate park design, having built over 300 skate parks in over 40 states, 15 countries over the past 30 years. We have chosen Jane Mills Park as a location for the skate park for the following reasons. There we have Jane Mills Park, aerial view. First reason is it's very close to the Pharmacy Skateboard Shop, which is where the skateboarders like to be and hang out. And it's very easy to skate. It's about 2 blocks up there to get to it, so very quick and easy for them to get there. The park is underutilized at this time, and this will bring in good activity that will help revitalize the park. So we'll be using the softball field there on the very, south end, right just north of Avenue J. And another large reason is we could utilize some of the existing infrastructure, such as the ball field lighting for the skate park, thereby reducing the overall cost of the park, as we could repurpose the ball field lights to light up the skate park at night, so the skaters will be able to go until about 10 o'clock at night. We've hosted 2 community meetings, attracting over 300 residents to weigh in on the amenities that they'd like to see in the skate park. The input from the residents helped shape the design that we are bringing to you tonight. On March 12th, the City Council approved that the staff enter into an agreement with Spahn Ranch to build the park, and from there we entered into the final design stages, which you see up here. The park will be 15,000 square foot and will include a pool, a bowl, a B2 ramp B2 bomber designed ramp, street elements such as stairs, handrails, grind ledges, an A-frame ramp, and a stage with plug-and-play electrical that we can be used for events and contests, bring in a sound system, concerts, things like that. So we could do all kinds of events there. We're very excited about that. The design that we are bringing to the City Council will be at the April 23rd meeting, and this is, as you see right here. If the council approves the design, we will move forward and start construction with the anticipated completion date of this October. So we are very excited about it. The public's very excited about it. The local skating community is very excited about it. So we have myself here for questions, Nicole Jones, our project coordinator. We have Doug Grove and Aaron Spahn. So if you have any questions, we are here to answer.
First off, I want to compliment you on this project. It looks amazing, and I'm sure the skateboarders are very excited about this.
They are. The meeting, they were very packed. They're very excited.
I do have a question. I'm concerned about the skateboarders riding to and from the park. Mm-hmm. How do you anticipate that traffic to be going?
We've spoken with the traffic division on that. Mayor Paris brought that up at the meeting when we presented on March 12th. We have on the... Actually, okay, yeah, if we can look there. Right there, if you can go a little bit to the left, Nicole, right there will be, there's a stoplight and there's crosswalks there already built in. The third lane, which is the south, which is the westbound lane, the third lane, which is the slow lane, will be turned into potentially, we're proposing to turn that into storefront parking. So that'll take it from 3 lanes down to 2, because typically, even if we went to a bike lane right now, skateboarders cannot legally be on the street in a bike lane. They'd have to be up on the sidewalk. So if we have frontage parking there, then they could be in there, but we're encouraging everyone to go down to where the old Parkview school site is and take the stoplight and the crosswalks across the street to get to it. Anyone coming from the north would be coming through residential.
When you say storefront parking, you mean where it's going to be coming in?
You'd park
where
parallel to it. Yeah,
you'd
be parallel to it, exactly. That's the recommendation right now of the traffic division that we would take to council.
Gotcha.
Oh, I have to compliment as well, because I was at both of those and got to see firsthand exactly the skate park pretty much being put together, and I really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to watch the park that I played softball games at be transformed into something that we've been anticipating for so long out here. So I just wanted to thank you and appreciate you bringing this to our city.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Is there any anticipated need for security at this location?
We're hoping now that the skaters will kind of police themselves. It's going to bring good activity to the park, which we think will be very positive. And the mayor he's attended, at least I know he's attended the first skate park meeting, and he told them that they're responsible for basically policing this. We do have park rangers on each night, and they will be stopping by often. And if we see that there are some issues, we can increase that traffic of the rangers to stop by there more often. But we anticipate that everything's going to be pretty smooth there. The community seems really excited about it, and they all appear to be on the same page from what we saw over the last 2 meetings. And we anticipate it's going to be very smooth and easy going out there. And the mayor told him, he goes, you guys have to police this, and if things get out of hand, he made it clear he won't hesitate to shut it down.
Got it. It's a great project. I think the kids are going to be really excited about that.
They seem super excited about it. And adults, there's people my age or older that were here too, giving input, talking in terms that I don't know. I mean, Doug and Aaron understand these terms,
More
but I certainly
excited than their own
didn't.
kids.
They're, and I think you guys skated since you were kids, right? I mean, so you just keep growing up in the skating.
And then I had another question. As far as spectators, what area do you have designated to, because I know generally the skate parks, they're kind of all over the place, and do you have a set-aside area just for spectators?
We do. We have the bleachers right there that Nicole is highlighting. We have some benches over on the other side and the back side. We also have some passive green space in here, which would be artificial turf that parents could sit in there and be close also, or skaters can sit and rest and, grab some water between skate sessions or whatever it is they call it. And so we have plenty of seating area there, and we could always expand upon it also as need be.
I thought you guys were going to keep the bleachers that were there already, though. And,
we looked at them.
They're
old.
They're bad.
We didn't know if it would be the best thing to do. So we're going to.
Because I knew there were a lot of them. That's why I
figured
figured
very large
that would be a nice amount.
As you remember from your softball days, they're very large bleachers there.
Yes, I do. Hey, I'm not that old. Don't do that.
Well, I grew up out that park also, so I played softball there too before before City Park or Owen Park became the Big 6 and the Big 8. So I remember playing there as well. So.
Okay, well, I was just wondering because when she asked that, it made me think about it. Like, wait a minute, what are they going to do with the old bleachers? But you just told me you're going to demolish them.
We're not going to demolish them. We're going to surplus them. They're going to be put up on the surplus site, and someone who wants to buy them can come by and get them.
I'm sure they're going to be cramming.
And so that's what we're going to do. Plus, we're also going to leave the outfield, as you understand it, for the softball field. The outfield grass will be out there too, so there'll be passive play out there, passive recreation out there, seating, things like that. So plenty of places to sit and watch skaters or
It's just a family, or you guys kept it, the family-oriented place it's supposed to be.
That's what we're trying to do.
We got the picnic areas, we have the
preschool, we have the classrooms.
Court.
Exactly. Basketball court, tennis courts, the preschool.
Yes.
Exactly.
Just
multi-purpose park.
Appreciate it.
Are there any restrictions as far as what types of are scooters allowed? Are there any restrictions to that, or is it just open to whomever shows up?
Anything like that, guys? Good. If you wouldn't mind. Aaron Spahn, more of an expert than I am, he's going to address that question for you.
Well, the goal is actually to make it multi-use and available to all roller sports. And fortunately in California, our legislation changed a couple years ago, our liability legislation, that now recognizes all non-motorized wheel sports as being covered, same kind of immunity to cities providing recreation. And it lists all these, not only does it call it non-motorized wheel sports, but then it lists them by their individual sports. And so scooters and bikes and roller skates and all that are all included, skateboarding. And also, interestingly, wheelchairs are also now a sanctioned use in skate parks. And there's a growing number of young people in wheelchairs that have learned how to do many of the same kind of tricks. And they're going to parks and using them. So we try to design in anticipation that anybody could come use a park, unless there's a specific reason why we wouldn't. And so for this park, we are.
Fantastic. That's great. Multi-use is fantastic.
Yeah, inclusive parks. Yep. Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
I just want to say thanks for the bowl and thanks for the B2. Those are the two things I wanted.
You're welcome.
I mean, I'm happy because there's also practically one at Quartz Hill too, which is like right across the street from my house. But I'm really excited to see implementing the B2 in the project. That was
wanted to keep the aerospace theme.
Yeah, that was important.
Been very important to the valley and to the city.
So one more question about the multi-use. Do you plan on having a schedule for the different types of uses? I know that sometimes there can be conflicts with that. So do you intend to have a schedule for different types of uses, time frames from, skateboards from this time on such days and that type of thing?
Right now we're going to kind of play it by ear and see how it goes and see how everything works out, see if they police themselves and see what kind of skaters or whatever, what kind of patrons come to the park. If we do see that there's a need for that, we can institute a schedule of some sort. Right now, we're just going to kind of open it up and see what comes and kind of evaluate from that.
I think there's a lot going to come.
There will be a lot that'll come. There's people very excited. We're excited too.
Well, thanks for all your hard work on that.
Okay, thank you very much.
What is the progress on this?
Well, if council approves of the next meeting, we will finish off design and start construction. We're hoping to be open by October.
Fantastic.
And in relation to that, you guys can answer that. When did Quartz Hill start breaking ground?
Well, you're trying to figure out the length of time that project.
No, I'm just saying from when you guys put the backhoes there. That's all I want to know.
Probably a 4-month project. Probably a 4-month process.
Yeah, and it's been raining a ton. So, and I looked at it this morning again, and I can't believe how far along it is. Is it like 75% completed?
Well, I haven't had a chance to look at it since my last trip here, which was a couple weeks ago, but at that time it was about 30 or 40% complete, so I'm sure it's above 50 or 65.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So, for reference, just to add, they have some prefabricated components that they brought in. So even before the Quartz Hill one, and I know this literally because it's right across the street from my house. I'm just waiting. I got my new deck and everything. I'm literally just waiting to break my hip in the bowl. But they brought in prefabricated concrete structure, so this is going to have some of the same components in it too.
I think there's going to be some decision making about that during the process, what to do in that fashion or not. But but you're correct. That definitely helps to compress the timeline.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
Any other questions of the commission? Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay, let's see. So we're not voting on this then? This was just a presentation?
That's correct. It's only informational at this time.
Okay. So the next item then is public business from the floor. Let's see. This portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the commission on any subject regarding city business. Under state legislation, no action can be taken on non-agenda items. Members of the public should be aware of this when addressing the commission regarding its items not specifically referenced on the agenda. Please complete a speaker card for the recording secretary. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Are there any speakers?
There are no speakers.
We stand adjourned. Regular meeting Thursday, May 2nd at 5 p.m. in Lancaster City Hall chambers.